What's up, everyone? Joel is here, and welcome back to another webisode on the J Advice Show. So, it's been a while since my last webisode. Well, it was a dance video, I should say. It wasn't even a webisode. But here I am, talk about another topic and everything like that I had in mind and to do yesterday. But I was like, you know what? Today is a better day to talk about it since there's like more going on with more to the story and all this shit going on. And that is another riot going on, guys. Another riot, and it's feel like deja vu, and it feels like I don't know, like this is just definitely seems like something that's always planned out. Like it's planned that this is what they have in store to do at this specific time or year or whatever like that. Because it's like I feel like every 4 years or so it's like that. There's always some sort of riot. Because I remember the last one I done it was like 4 years ago, and everything on here was the George Floyd riots and shit like that that I talked about on here and everything. And now this, so it's kind of weird how like this is, kind of plays out. Strange to me. It's like seems definitely like planned out or some shit. But it's crazy. But definitely feel like deja vu. But here I am again with another riot going on. Riots in California and Los Angeles, to be exact, with these and they call it the ICE protests and shit like that. Like no, there's no damn protests. Those are freaking riots. A lot of people online talking about it and saying this is not no damn protest because how can I be protest? How can it be peaceful, whatever like that? And that's some shit that a lot of Democrats are also saying as well, like oh mostly peaceful. They saw this shit again, like just like what happened in 2020. Like I can't believe this crap is happening once again, guys, once again. But it's definitely not no peaceful protests and all that other shit. These are riots. They're throwing shit, burning cars and everything, throwing shit at all the ICE agents and all this shit. And it's just it's crazy what's going on down there and everything like that. And this all started because the ICE agents was picking up a bunch of illegals, arresting them and shit like that have a lot of criminal charges and shit. And and it was gonna deport them and everything like that. Maybe do some jail time, I should say first, and then deport them and everything like that. So you have all these illegal aliens that's been coming on that's been well stopped now, I should say. That were coming in, during the Biden administration, everything like that. And now that Trump is in, he's been cleaning it up and everything like that, getting rid of them, and deporting them, sending a lot of the criminals to El Salvador's mega prison and all that stuff like that. Do love what he's doing over there, by the way, with Bukele. I like him and everything. A lot of people don't like him. A lot of these liberal, Spanish fools and shit don't like him, call him a dictator and everything. I think what he's doing over there is a great thing, and it's making the country much safer. It's something that we need over here because a lot of crime over here, especially in all these blue states, like right here in New York City. California, I would say is worse. Los Angeles, I should say specifically. Specifically, that spot, that area right there is way worse than here in New York City, in my opinion, anything like that. Because I watch a lot of videos on YouTube and on Twitter, they show all the time where people walking the streets over there. You see like all the crime, the druggies and everything. All the illegals over there. Selling drugs and all type of other shit they're doing over there and stuff like that. So it is way worse than over here and everything. But it's just crazy what's going on, and like Trump wants to make things much more safer and everything like that, getting rid of them, and then you have all these idiots out there that's protesting and all this shit and trying to stop them from arresting these illegal aliens that are also criminals, have a criminal background, and everything, and they're protecting them. Like I don't understand that. Like a lot of the ones they arrested was like people who's smuggling like drugs, human trafficking, all that shit. What else? What's it? Molesting the children and shit like that, like pedophiles and all that stuff, and woman beaters beating their wives and everything like that. And these are the type of people that these fools, these dumbasses, or like supporting or defending and everything like that. Like you gotta be kidding me! Like I can't believe this. Another thing I'm laughing at too, like I mentioned, that a lot of people are talking about as well is like all these fools over there that's like protesting and or rioting. I mean, they have their Mexican flags and all this shit. So you have all these other flags of all these other countries that you guys ran from, and don't want to go back to, and you displaying them here in America. Like, does that make sense to you? Then that just goes to show that these people don't like this country and everything like that. And a lot of people who come here or come here legally or whatever like illegally, I should say more like illegally, more not really legal, but illegally that comes here, always want free shit from this country and everything like that. They come in because they want that, and they don't want to work or whatever like that. It's pretty much the same shit, like, in their country. They don't want to work or whatever like that. So they're like, oh, yeah, let's see if we can come here legally and everything. Biden wanted us to come in at the time, let's come there, let's go there, we go the free shit, government help, food stamps, all that stuff. We don't have to work. We got all this stuff and we could just chill or whatever like that. All this money we getting from the government, we could save up and buy clothes and all this other shit, and, expensive iPhones, all that crap. And that's what's mostly what you see when it comes to a lot of people in this country and everything like that. And it's like not only illegal I'm talking about, but just American born as well. It's like they have the most expensive shit. They want to go out and get the latest shit, but yeah, they're always broke. Never have money for food. Shopping at like friggin' Dollar Tree, Family Dollar on food stamps. Dirty as shit. Like hygienic wise, I should say. All that stuff. Those are the type of people. That this is the new generation, I should say. Like super lazy. They just want to obtain everything free or legally and stuff like that. And that's what a lot of these illegal immigrants is the same way. These illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, I should say. But yeah, so it's just crazy. I don't like what's going on, and this just needs to stop. I'm happy that Trump is being serious about this, sending the National Guard and everything like that. I love that and everything like that. So we need somebody serious in power, and that's what we have right now. It's just I feel like things needs to speed up a little bit. Speed up this process a little bit and everything. It's just I don't like what's going on, and I hate that you have a lot of these damn Democrats that's in the way, stopping him from conducting his business and everything like that. He's a president. He's supposed to be able to do this stuff, and you have all these freaking liberals and communists in his way. Is just, come on, like, it's just annoying. I don't like what's going on. It really pisses me off in this country now, and it's like, damn, like sometimes I really hate it. I gotta say, like, I really hate it. I'm happy that he's in now and everything. Like he's been doing some stuff. I feel like could be a little bit more, but I mean he just came in, so I'm not gonna like really knock him at it or like for that. But I do like what he's mostly focused on right now, and that is cleaning up this country and getting rid of all these illegal aliens and sending them back home, and the criminals sending them over to El Salvador and stuff, and all that shit. Do like that because that's the first. The start, I should say. Because he it's America first. He's focused more on us and everything, more focused more on this country before other countries. Because when it comes to these Democrats, all they care about is other countries. They care about foreigners. They treat them better than us, and these other countries they treat better, give money to all of them and everything like what it was Ukraine, all this shit. They don't care about us. Like we struggling here, inflation, everything like that. A lot of people's poor, broke. You barely can make any money. Living paycheck to paycheck and all that shit, and they don't care about us. So they only care about foreigners. These illegal aliens that's coming in, and they're giving them all this free shit. Like that we worked for. Our taxes paying for paying for these people that's not supposed to be here anyways. Paying for them for food. And what's it? The health. Health care, all that shit. And they don't deserve that because they're not supposed to be here. Anyways. And these are the type of people that are defending them. The people in California defending them. Like, come on, like this is crazy. Like, I don't know what to say, man. Like this country, like, I mean, we have Trump in now, but it's feel like it's gonna be a long time before he can clean this up. That's all I gotta say. Like I said, I can't blame him. Can't blame him because Biden left a huge mess for him to clean up, and it's gonna take a while to take. It's gonna really take a while to clean up. Especially when I've heard that there's so many, like millions of illegal aliens here. So it's like, damn, so I understand it's going to take a while to do this. But on top of that, is they're making it more difficult, because you got all these damn, Democrats and shit like that. And also these damn fools, that's stopping them, on a protest or riot or whatever like that, stopping these ICE agents from doing the job and everything like that. And that's just wrong, So I don't understand, like, how these people can get away with stuff in this country like that, Other countries, they don't play that shit. Other countries don't play that shit. You think they could do that in Russia? Hell no. You think they could do that in China? Hell no. You think they could do that in North Korea? Fuck no. So it's like, it's just crazy. Venezuela, Cuba, all those places, they can't do that shit there. They only do that shit here. It's like, I feel like this is like one of the only countries, actually not really, because I've actually seen like other videos as well on Twitter. They talked about like all these other countries that's going through similar like crisis that we went through. Well, they're still going through. We're not going through anymore. We're just trying to get rid of them now. And that is with a lot of like, a big, huge influx of illegal aliens coming in, like how it is, I heard in France, the UK and everything like that. But the thing is with them, they're actually welcoming them, so because they're Democrats, pretty much. They like that shit. They prefer them over their own citizens and everything like that. So they have like a big, like huge, like influx of like, Middle Eastern, people from Africa and all those parts, because since it's like close to that, to those countries and everything like that. So yeah, so they got a big issue as well. But, I feel like, damn, I can actually, now that I think about it, maybe over there is probably worse when it comes to that, because at least here we have, a president that's not an idiot, everything that's more strict. and actually cares more about this country and us before, over them, and these other those other countries like France, UK, they don't care about that. And I even heard like in those countries, like in UK, you get arrested if you talk against it. Like what? That sounds like a damn dictatorship to me. So yeah, so that's just crazy. But it's just like things need to change. Need to really change here. I feel like a lot of these laws needs to be changed and shit like that. Because I feel like a lot of these laws is what's also protecting a lot of these damn people. And in order and be able to do this shit. And be able to like attack, like federal agents and all this shit. Like no, that once you do that, you should be arrested. They should be able to like beat the shit out of you and put you in handcuffs and just throw you behind bars and shit like that. Because I know other countries you cannot do that shit. It's only mostly here, I should say, mostly in this freaking country, and like this new generation is just they're fucked up. Spoiled, dumb, brainwashed, and all that shit. And one thing I want to say real quick is when it comes to brainwashing. I feel like TikTok is one of the biggest issues ever. Like, I feel like that's something that Trump should have just kept banned. He should never try to restore. Because I feel like that is very poisonous to the new generation and everything like that. And that's where a lot of these, like, how they can get a lot, that's where they get a lot of these liberal, like, ideologies and, like, communist ideologies from TikTok and shit like that. That's what I believe and everything. And it's just, like, really poisonous new generation. That's the reason why they like that. So I kind of don't blame a lot of these countries sometimes that restricts internet, or don't have, like how it is in North Korea and Cuba and places like that. Because, when you think about it, when they don't want, their citizens, their people to be poisoned when it comes to a lot of the American ideologies, Western ideology and stuff like that. Now I can kind of see why these countries don't like us, Now I can see it because, like, or why they don't want their people to, be like pretty much get poisoned like our generation and shit like that. Look at the type of people we have here. Look what they do. These are the type of things you have to deal with. You have to deal with like all this crime and everything. All these criminals always get away with shit. Then you got illegal aliens that are here, and then you have all these dumbass liberals that are protecting them and everything like that. They like, you think you can do that in other countries? No. So a lot of those countries I named was super safe. We don't have to worry about crime because over there they don't play that shit. You do something bad, you pay the consequence. You're punished for it, which is how it's supposed to be. It's how it's supposed to be in life. But here in America, it's a whole different thing. And a lot of people here is just freaking spoiled, and they just know they can get away with stuff. So, they're able to steal and they're able to like rob people and shit like that and get away with it. Even with murder, they can get away with that shit as well. So I like things needs to be changed. They need to definitely change here in this country when it comes to a lot of stuff. The laws, things need to be rewritten. So yeah, so you guys don't like what I'm saying. It probably seem like I sound bad or a dictator, but it's true. Like things need to be changed. Things need to be more strict when it comes to this country, when it comes to these people, to the people here. Because like I said, a lot of people here is just spoiled. Spoiled, entitled. Like it's crazy. I'm not only talking about the illegal aliens here. I'm talking about also a lot of these Americans as well. The younger generation here and everything like that, and the way how they act. So I think a lot of things need to definitely be changed in this country and stuff like that. And especially with certain laws, like I said, that protects these people from like, all the dumb shit they do, and then it's like they can get away with it, and this is like, I don't like that at all. I don't like that. Especially like you have these fools in Los Angeles like waving Mexican flags and shit. Like what the fuck you doing here then? Go back to Mexico if that's where you want to be. If that's who you're representing, go over there. Why are you over here? Because you can't do that over there. You can get away with that shit here. The cartels won't play that shit over there. So like I don't like that at all. And like you have all those, like liberal Mexicans and like most of them I should say, of course I didn't really see much black surprisingly because they always into that shit and getting ready to rob places and shit like that. You know how a lot of them are when it comes to a lot of black people, like this new generation of blacks is just like they're shot. Like they're done. Like it's terrible. Like just ghetto, lazy as shit, and just like to steal and rob and steal and all other shit. So it's just crazy. Like I don't like this, and it is easy to change. Like seeing this stuff just really like pisses me off, guys. Makes me mad. And like I said, it's like deja vu because I'm talking about this again. After like 4 years with the whole thing with the George Floyd protests and everything, the riots and everything, like protests then riots. And then there was another one. There was somebody else like I had talked about a while ago. That was before George Floyd. I try to remember if that was 4 years before that as well, because like I said, if it is, then it's like some sort of trend every 4 years or whatever like that. Then some shit like this happens every 4 or 5 years, I should say. damn, who was it? Oh, Eric Gardner, I think his name was. Yeah, I think that was the one. I don't remember if that was in 2018. I had talked about that when it was for that riots. I don't know. I don't know. I gotta look. I gotta go back and look at my old videos on here and check. But yeah, but it definitely, like I said, it feels like some sort of like planned out type of shit. It's kind of like strange. So yeah, so it makes me think now. It made me wonder like, who's behind all this stuff? The only people I can think about is the Democrats. It's the only party I can think of that's doing this shit. Because they're evil. The Democrats, as I call them, and shit like that. Evil as people, and they just here to destroy this country. That's all I can see. And they're no more focused on foreigners and foreign countries over ours. So yeah, so that's another thing I'm happy that thank God, that you what's the name Kamala Harris that didn't win, because definitely would have been crazy, because it would have been a crazy war going on right now with Ukraine and shit, like with us trying, well, them I should say, not me, because I wasn't gonna get involved, but with them, go with Ukraine going against Russia and all this shit. So I'm happy that she didn't win. And I'm happy that Trump wants peace. I would have won that as well. So I do like that. But like I said, it hasn't been that long since he's been in office, right? It's been 6 months now, whatever like that. Yeah, you could say 6 months, yeah, and everything. So I know he has a lot on his plate. He has a lot to do, a lot to like fix and everything like that. So it's not easy. I know that, but this shit needs to stop. Like when it comes like when it like with that, with the protests, with because I won't, I'm not gonna, like, these are actually protests, not already riots. Like with those crazy liberal communist white people and shit that's always like pushing for when it comes to that community that I can't stand. I don't really want to talk about the gays and shit. Well, not really that. They're more focused on trying to like defend and promote more of those damn flannies, I'm gonna call them. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Just change that up to T. You get what I'm talking about and everything like that. So they're more supportive of those people, those that's mentally ill and shit. So they're more focused on that stuff. While you got these fools over here that's more, focused on having criminals here. That's not supposed to be in this country and everything. Well, they're the same way as well. Some of the liberal whites as well. They like that shit. They want these illegal aliens here too. So it's not really that much different of what they're trying to fight for. Even though they're all like fighting for the wrong things. But yeah, so like I said, like they're definitely being influenced a lot by the Democrats and whatever else is going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, whatever else secret or party organization, whatever the hell is going on. But they're the ones who's influencing these people. I don't know who they are. We don't know who they are, but hopefully we'll find out soon. They're the ones who's influencing them and everything like that, and leading them to do these stuff. Like planning these stuff out. Planning these protests, planning these riots out, and everything like that. And that's scary. It's really really scary. And this, man, like I said, like it just makes me like I like this country and everything, but in a ways it makes me hate it. Because of the things that I see happening here and everything, like how I see a lot of these people, how they can get away with this shit. How the generation, how they're just so poisonous now and everything. Like they have become so poisonous, I should say, and so brainwashed, and and they're pretty much like they don't understand like life, or values, or whatever like that, and they don't care about this country, and they're too busy focused on all the bullshit and all the lies and shit, like all the misinformation they get on places, on these damn social media platforms like TikTok, for example, and everything like that. And that's why I think that's something that should have just stayed banned. Trump should have never went ahead and and decided to like uplift it and shit. That should have been banned. That should have been over with and everything like that, because that shit is messing up this whole generation. That's all I'm gonna say. It's messing up this whole generation, especially mainly here in this country and everything like that. Other countries, not that much, because like I said, they're much more strict than here, so they don't play that shit. But with that TikTok and like social media in general, I feel like it's just really just messing up these kids, just poisoning their heads, and like this is our generation, a bunch of degenerates. This is pretty much the future. Is what you're gonna see. You're gonna see all these dumbass, no life blacks and Latinos and shit, even some whites and shit like that don't have a life, they don't work or whatever like that. They're out here busy protesting and rioting every day while we have to work and take care of them. And it's sad. They don't want to work. They want free shit. They want to steal shit. When they're doing with riots and they like, you know, rude, disrespectful, whatever like that, violent, and all other stuff, you know. And yeah, we don't want that shit here, you know. Like things just need to change in this country. That's what I feel like. Like things, I've been saying this for a long time, guys. I've been saying this for a long ass time. Like things just need to be changed in this country because it's going to hell. That's all I gotta say. It's going on the shitter. That's all I gotta say, man. Like I said, we got Trump in now. I know it's gonna take a while to fix all these things, but it's also gonna be a little issue with that and a little like too much obstacles in his way when it comes to all these damn Democrats that don't want to work with him. Like how it is with freaking Governor Newscum, as Trump was calling him. That's what he is, Newscum, and then the mayor over there in Los Angeles named Bass, Karen Bass, or whatever. They don't want to work with him. You know, they like this shit. They want to support. You know, they like supporting riots and like criminals and bad. You know, they like violence. You know, they love to support that type of stuff. They don't want peace. You know, they don't. It's sad. It's just what they like. You know, they love this because I know that they make money off of this. So of course that's why they love it. You know, same thing with wars. They like to start wars because they like to make money off it. Mostly Democrats that be starting wars and everything like that. All Democratic presidents that we know of, you know, they like that shit. You know, because they make money off of it. They're happy with killing people and making money off of it. You know, which is messed up. So yes, I know my shit. I'm not one of these brainwashed idiots out there that's on TikTok and shit. You know, and they're feeding their brains with just a bunch of like nonsense and poison. Like I know my shit, study this stuff. I see what's going on. I know my history, and I see how things are going, how this country operates, and I don't like it. You know, and like I said, things needs to change. But we need President Trump to, you know, be a little bit more. Well, like I said, I don't think that's the case with him because, like I said, it's a Democrat's fault. But you know, somebody like more like how Bukele is, you know, El Salvador. But the thing is with him is he was able to rewrite the Constitution and stuff like that. So gave him and his like party more power and shit like that. So I could see why a lot of people were saying see him as a Democrat, I mean a dictator or whatever like that. But in a way, I do understand why he did that. I don't know if that's gonna be an easy thing to do in this country, you know, rewriting it. But I'm not really gonna say he should do that. Trump should do that, whatever like that. But I feel like a lot of the laws and things here needs to be changed because this is gonna be the future, you know. And I feel like this is something that's never gonna end when it comes to people like this we have to deal with, you know. Arrest these pieces of shit, you know, throw them in jail. You gotta beat the shit out of them and throw them in there. Do that, you know, and that's that. Deport the ones that are supposed to be here. Exile these other fools if you know they hate this country and they support those type of like liberal communist type of like, ideologies. Deport them to one of those countries, you know, that they can go to, you know. You know, like it's just wrong. It's wrong. But I know a lot of people's not gonna be happy with what I'm saying right now. A lot of people probably not happy, I should say, whoever's watching this and everything like which not much, but whoever's watching this, I know comments that people are gonna be upset with a lot of things I said, but it's true. Like I feel like, you know, we need to do these things needs to be changed. Some laws need to be changed and stuff like that because these things protect these type of people and that's not right, you know, and then us good people is always the ones that have, you know, get hurt for it, you know, and everything like lose, you know, the bad people always win and the good, you know, the good people always lose, and that's what it seems like, you know, in this country, and I don't like that at all. That's what it seems like in the whole world, I should say, not just here, you know. But like these people, a lot of people is brainwashing. So I would say they need to wake up, but I feel like they're kind of long gone. You know, a lot of these people are long gone. They don't know. They don't know shit about life. You know. And this is what they live to do. You know, they don't work or nothing like that. They like doing this shit. They like to riot and burn shit down and rob and shit like that. They like freaking kids don't have no freaking lives. They're degenerates. You know. But yeah, so it's sad. Sad. I mean, I like Mexicans. Like Mexicans, there's some good people, hard workers and shit. Those type of ones, no, I don't like. But there's some good ones I know. There's some good ones I know. You know, but not these ones. Just like how there's some good black people I know as well. You know, not many, but is the ones I know is ghetto as shit. You know, hood rats and shit. But yeah, and that's that. But yeah, that's all I want to talk about. Talk long enough and everything like that. Just wanted to get this out, vent and rant and all this shit because I'm mad. You know, I'm really mad. And this, like I said, this reminds me of when I talked about this 4 years ago with George Floyd. I was the same way. I was pissed off and everything like that. So yeah, so I'm mad. Like I said, things needs to be changed. Things need to change and everything like that. And like I said, I'm not gonna really blame Trump because, like I said, there's people in his way, and also it's certain things I understand he can't really do. You know, because it goes behind the Constitution with against it, I should say, and stuff like that. So I understand that, but things needs to change. Things need to change because I see future for this country is not looking good. I don't see it looking good at all. Don't see it looking good at all, and it just makes me dislike it here, because I gotta deal with this type of shit with people like this. And I hate that, hate it. So yeah, things need to be done. Arrest these fools, deport who you have to deport, exile whatever you want to do. That's what I would have done as a president, and all that other shit. And yeah, so that's that, guys. Got this on my system and everything. So let me know in the comment section below for who's watching what you got to say. I know I'll probably get a lot of criticism for this. People gonna be pissed off what I can say, but I don't care. I don't give a shit because that's who I am. I've been doing this for years on here. Always been straightforward and blunt. Not only on here, on social media as well. And I say it how it is. I don't give a fuck. So yeah. So let me know. And that's it, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed this webisode, and I'll see you guys next time for another webisode of the J Vice Show. Peace.